Welcome back to the show, everybody. We're doing Harry Potter 4, The Goblet of Fire. Joining me today is Amanda. I'm not sure the orientation of this one again, but last time she was, I think, to the left of me. And Hannah, Harry Potter expert extraordinaire. And also...
No, please don't. Please don't call me that.
Well, we are also joined by two middle-aged women behind Hannah who seem to be just jazzed about their yard sale. They have Cedric the Entertainer back here because this movie is about Cedric Diggory, a awful substitute for Cedric the Entertainer. I think they should have cast Cedric in this role, but we'll get to how I feel about that later. So, first of all, this movie was actually pretty good, I gotta say. It was significantly better than the past few movies. Not as much Gary Oldman as the last one, but it made up for it in other ways. So
did he not rock that fire role?
Okay. I was misled when you said in The Goblet of Fire he plays the fire. I thought he was the fire in the goblet, and that Gary Oldman just doing this wacky arm flailing inflatable tube man bit, and that would have been fantastic. I would have loved that, because when you say he plays the fire in The Goblet of Fire, that's what I imagine. Not that he just is a fire in a movie that also happens to have fire in the title. He deserves more credit than that, but whatever.
I did not lie to you.
You didn't.
You just believed something other than what I said. I said he played the fire in the movie Goblet of Fire. I never specified he played the fire within the goblet.
All right, you know what?
Technicalities.
We're going to agree to disagree. Some of us prefer fantasy to despair. I wanted to believe that he was going to be the trophy that all of these people were fighting for. Whatever, fine. I'll deal with the movie I got. I think I would have gotten a better movie that way, but I still got a pretty decent movie. So let's jump into it real quick. Hannah, this was, I think you said, your favorite of the series. We kind of know how you feel about it if that's the case, but why don't you tell us a little bit about what you think was successful about the movie and why it is that you enjoy this movie so much.
Wow, just skip straight into the review portion of the video.
Okay.
Well, I did not read the books yet.
What?
What? I didn't say anything. I thought that this was a great movie because, well, obviously I have a whole thing for the twins, but I also really like guys with shaggy hair. So, you know, this whole movie was really going for it. They all had, it's like the year they didn't cut their hair, any of them. So it was really good from that point of view. I also really, he didn't grow hair.
Head of the curve.
But we got to cut it eventually, and he's already there. I like this one also, not for that fact, but also for the sheer fact that you get to see other wizarding schools, like they're introduced. So it's not like, oh, Hogwarts is the only one. Mm-hmm. Obviously, you can't have that in a giant global system. You can't have one school that's but also, like, right. I love the magic of it. I love the Yule Ball. I love the tasks and how unprepared Harry is consistently. It's great. It's fun. It's a great time to watch the twins. They're making bets. That's the best. A lot of screen time for the twins.
Yeah. All right. Hannah, you did a fine job talking about all that, right? I've got some questions for you. We'll get to that in a second, though.
I feel like I
Panda,
didn't. That's mean.
man, no, you did good. It's just I've got some questions that I feel like maybe you can answer this time around. If I have general complaints about movies, I feel like now you're the person I can go to
Okay.
or for explanations.
Sure.
We'll be all right. All right. Amanda, how did you feel about the movie? We'll get to what my questions a little bit later. Amanda, how did you feel about the movie? What did you like about it? What did you think worked? Maybe it didn't work. What's your opinion?
Well, for this movie, I mean, it is a really good movie, just cinematically, anyways. They actually kind of stepped up their game in the storytelling. And I don't remember the book very well, but at least in the movie, it did play out like an actual plot. So I think the problem that a lot of the other movies have is they do have plot, but it gets interrupted by, oh, look at how magical this world is, which that's fine because I like that about the Harry Potter movies. But it does get it inundated with kind of pointless information, which I'm sure that's why Justin doesn't like these things. But yeah, it's a good plot. They really did play up the cinematic, like stylized version of it again. So we're not just getting, like in the third movie, teenagers from the 2000s like running around wearing like khaki pants and junk like that. So it actually fits with the wizarding world again. And it's the start of pretty much the rest of the storyline. Everything after this isn't introduction to the world anymore. We're already submerged in the world and we're finally getting to the main storyline. And that's why it really does work. And that's probably why you feel like there's more plot.
That's probably it. So I had heard, I think from my sister, that like the movies don't really pick up until the fourth movie. And I was wondering, then why have the first three if they don't start getting good? No, I get it. They're still finding their spot and what these movies are going to be. And then I guess they settled. I'm assuming they settled on this kind of movie, like this kind of thematic tone for like the rest of the four movies. They're all kind of like this. Yeah. Okay. I enjoyed it, but there were some scenes that I was like, why is that in there? So I didn't understand why Ron gets so upset at Harry for something happening to Harry, like it always does. Like something always happens that Harry didn't want any part of. He's like, I didn't want any part of this. It just kind of happens. And Ron's been there for every time that's happened to him. But for some reason, this time he throws a big fit about it for no real reason other than like a 15-minute conflict between these two. And then it's kind of over. And it doesn't really lead anywhere or do anything. So my question is, I mean, as far as you know, does that have any point like in like the future movies or in the book, I guess, that you may or may not have read?
Yeah, so the whole thing about Ron is like he is part of this large family and he doesn't get to stand out very much.
Youngest of 5 brothers and not a girl.
Yeah, he's a lot like Justin. He is a baby. But yeah, you get this whole inferiority complex from Ron. And I think his way of kind of trying to come out of that was Harry being so popular and also being his friend. He feels like he's in on the joke or in on the scheme that's gonna bring them fame.
Yeah.
And I think with this, this is like the first time that we see him actually become jealous of something that Harry gets that he didn't get, like he wasn't a part of.
Yeah.
So, and it does play, well, pretty much to the end, where Ron always has this inferiority, and it plays not just with his family, but with like his best friend being Harry Potter.
All right. I guess, so long as it has a point, because it just felt like it was just tacked on in there for like a needless conflict, and I was like, I don't understand why it's there. And also, I feel like that probably wouldn't have happened if you've been best friends with this guy for like 4 years at this point, I guess 5 years at this point, and you know that this stuff happens to him all the time.
4.
People are always trying to kill him. They also look old for 13 years old. Like that, I don't know about that.
I don't know if we're frozen, but Hannah looks real still.
I don't think she's frozen at all. I think that's just
No,
her.
I'm just
her
sitting here.
judging us.
I'm tired. I'm sorry, guys.
Throughout the movie, I guess the whole plot of the movie, we haven't really talked about that. The whole point is that there are three schools that have to compete for basically like it's the Olympics, but like their trophy is the Goblet of Fire, not with Gary Oldman in it. In the lore, is it like illegal or something to back out of being selected for it?
Well, they said that in the movie. They said once your name comes out of the cup, you have a legal. It's like a magical binding. So it's kind of like you signed on the dotted line. You're legally it's like upholding. You have to do it.
But if you didn't
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought in the book they said it was like an unbreakable vow, where if you don't do it.
Yeah, but like if you didn't make that vow, if you didn't enter your name in there,
the whole thing was like it had to have been like a super like powerful confundus charm, and it confused the goblet, and the goblet was like, yo, your name got spit out of it, so you have to do it.
But why?
Okay, but yeah, anyways, with the unbreakable vow, you could die if you don't respect it. So
it could kill you,
or he died, right? I think that's what happened.
I don't know, man. I haven't finished.
I think that was what it was. People in the comment section, if you remember Harry Potter better than I do, please comment.
Because I saw, okay, so from what my understanding was in the movie is that, yeah, you're supposed to compete or something, right, in these trials that could kill you. Why wouldn't you have that ability to be like, you know what, I didn't enter my name in there. It was weird that it popped up, but can I just not? And then they're like, well, that's never happened, and the rules say that you got to compete. Like, well, but this has never happened, so couldn't you just make more rules? All of these wizards, and they can't rewrite the rules of Wizard Olympics.
I mean, well,
the kid doesn't want to do it. I mean,
McGonagall said, McGonagall said, like, he's a child. Don't do it. Don't go for it. And then, like, Snape was like, I think we should let it play out. And Dumbledore, who's not a good man, was like, yeah.
Dumbledore's
let's do it.
Like,
let's keep him in the thing.
Why not? Dumbledore's a jerk.
Dumbledore is a terrible man, and I dislike Dumbledore to a high degree.
I wonder if the whole time, like knowing the end of the story, spoilers, Justin, but do you think Snape was just like, yeah, let Harry do stupid things. Maybe he'll get himself killed. And that's a good thing. Hannah, rebuttal.
What? I was not paying attention.
This is going fantastically.
This is the best
I'm sorry.
Yet.
I got like 5 hours of sleep.
Yeah.
I'm confused. That's all.
I'm confused by this movie
so
too.
You know the end of this whole
I'm confused by Mando. That's
No,
what I'm confused
well, what I'm
by.
saying is, you know, the end of this whole series, right? So
Yeah.
what if this whole time Snape was like, let Harry do stupid things, right?
Uh-huh.
And maybe he'll get himself killed, and this will all work itself out.
Well, if that's the case, if Harry died and it wasn't, you know, the way that it ends up being, then wouldn't, you know, Voldemort still have, God, I don't want to spoil, but wouldn't, you know, that thing that happens since Harry dies, that thing that happens also happens because of it. Do you think that would even, like, play out, since it wasn't obviously Voldemort who did that? If Harry just, like, died by, like, say the dragon just chomped him and he died in front of all of his classmates, like, do you think that that would still produce the same kind of ending? Because I don't believe that the heroes would win at that point.
I mean, I think it would be one down, and then somebody had to figure out the others. So...
One down, 6 more to go. But what happens when? Well, what would happen if, you know, Dumbledore's, you know, by the hands of Snape, then
Yeah, when Snape killed Dumbledore.
Who would pick up from there? Like, Dumbledore gonna pick another random student like Ron? Yeah.
Oh no, spoilers.
But, like, do you really think that the man who was willing to sacrifice a child would not sacrifice more children? I don't know where I was going with that. I'm so sorry.
I don't know. I just think Snape was probably like, let him do it. If he dies, it's better.
I hated him anyway. I only loved his mother.
If he dies, he dies.
This is only win-win for me.
Well, you know, let him die. I'm fine with it. You're a professor.
Everything's coming up Snape. Anyways.
Snape is pretty good. I like Snape. I hope he kills Dumbledore.
He does.
Had it coming.
All right. Also, there's one scene that kind of confused me a little bit. There's a fight between Ron and Hermione whenever she's with the Russian guy, I think, he's Russian. They're like dancing and stuff.
No, what? with
Okay.
He's a Bulgarian.
Yeah, he's a Bulgarian.
I'm sorry. I didn't quite catch what region they were from. I just know whatever. He's from somewhere else, like another school. Anyway.
He's on the Quidditch World Cup is Irish versus the Bulgarians.
Dude, I don't follow Quidditch. I don't even follow real Quidditch.
That's a big portion of it.
It's the opening, and he's the dude who pumps his fists like 8 times while he's staring at the camera. That's fine. I get it. He loves it. He lives for it. I don't. We're gonna have to move past it. Ron's like, you know, he's after more than friendship, if you ask me. And she's like, how could you, Ron? And she runs away, right? And then later on, they just cut to a different scene where they're back together fighting again. And then she's like, you spoiled everything. And then that's, but how and why? It feels like there was a scene missing there. That felt kind of weird. And I get that they're building that relationship there because whatever. Because he's adorable and he's real dumb. But, you know, okay, sure. I don't know what was missing there. It just felt kind of weird to me that they would cut out a scene there and just bring them back together to fight some more for something that felt like it was missing there. I don't know if that was in the book, like what actually happened, that Ron spoiled everything, but it seems like he didn't actually do anything other than bug her a little bit.
See, the whole thing with that is that Ron is, like, obviously jealous because, you know, he likes Hermione and Hermione is going with Victor. And he, for the whole time, to make himself feel better, he's like, she doesn't have a date. She was just lying to me. She was just lying to me.
Yeah.
She's lying to herself. She's lying to us. She doesn't actually have a date. So I feel sorry for her. And he's like, he sees her with Victor, and he's like, Victor was like his man crush, if you couldn't pick up from like the very beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And so Ron sees Hermione with somebody else, and he's like, oh, ruh-roh, I don't like that. So he like...
I remember that one.
Oh, no!
So he gets like super jealous, and he lets that jealousy take control. So she's having fun, and he's not, because, you know, he's a freaking Sour Punch kid who only is the sour. So he's got a stick so far up his butt right now that the only way he can get that, the way to get it out, is to try and like bring her down to his level, but he doesn't truthfully like understand that. So he's just kind of doing it out of like attacks because he feels hurt. So he's just attacking her.
Yeah.
What, Manda?
So to answer Justin's question, yes, in the book there is more.
Okay.
I was explaining. It just wasn't going to be a short explanation.
I understood the psychological reasons behind their behavior up until that point.
So I believe in the book, and I mean, comment at the bottom. I haven't read it in 20 years. It says something like, "Look at you all dressed up." He doesn't know like the real you. He's pretty much just saying like she's just dressed up and not being herself, and she's being like a totally different person than who she really is, and all that makeup's not going to change who she is and stuff. And she's just like, I hate you so much. Why would you say that? I feel real good about myself right now.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the missing thing.
Does he say that to him or her?
No, he says that to Hermione. Ron says it to Hermione.
Yeah. All right. It still seems like she could have just been like, you can go poop yourself. I'm gonna go have a good time. But for some reason she keeps coming back to that fight.
But the thing is,
she liked him.
She liked him too, and she wanted him to ask her to go to the ball, but he was a jerk about it. Yeah.
So when
that's why you see her go like, well, if you know what the solution is to this, you ask me, not as a last resort. You ask me before anybody else.
Okay, so when she says you spoiled everything, that's what she's referring to, not necessarily her relationship with the Bulgarian guy, but the relationship between those two. There's some subtext to it. Okay, I get it. I put a note here that says Myrtle is weird. I just want everybody to know.
Oh, yes.
Myrtle is weird.
Correct.
Yeah, right. She's real weird.
kind of an annoying voice.
That's it.
All right.
That's the whole thing.
And moral fiber Dumbledore. He's too obsessed with just doling out points just because he likes the way people act instead of adhering to the rules. Just going to reinforce the idea that Dumbledore isn't real good at it. At whatever it is he's supposed to be doing, because he keeps changing things and stuff.
Explain.
The moral, he gives out more points or whatever to Harry Potter for saving 2 people.
He would have been, so the thing is, Harry would have been first.
Yeah.
To finish.
Yeah.
But he was last because he saved 2 of them. Yeah. Instead of just going for what was his, he went and did more.
Yeah.
And he was gonna be first, but he ended up being last. So what do you do? You reward them.
You can. Or you can let him be last. Because that's the rule.
No, you gotta reward that. Because he would have been first. If he wasn't like, the moral dilemma of leaving.
Didn't he give the money to Cedric's dad anyways?
I don't know. I thought he gave it to Fred and George for their shop.
Oh, that's right. What did he give? What did he give?
What did he give Amos Diggory?
Has been ruined.
What did he give Amos Diggory? Cedric's body.
Yeah. You want a box for it?
I could have left your son in that graveyard. I picked up your son's body on the way out. This is your gift. You're
This is
welcome.
garbage.
And then the last bit I had of this movie that kind of bugged me. So why doesn't the servant, the rat dude from the last movie, just stab Harry Potter? It doesn't have to kill him right away, but just mortal wound.
Who's to
Get
say?
blood from him that way, right? Like, whoop, aorta. Sorry, I just needed a little bit of a bunch of your blood. So it gets the job done.
Well, I think he was supposed to keep him alive so Voldemort could kill him. Like, that was the whole thing.
Yeah, but
That's whole Voldemort's dream. Like, his whole dream board is just killing Harry Potter.
Voldemort is also, he looks like a little Jeff Dunham baby doll whenever they're carrying him around. He's like, hey, stab him, kill the little one. Yeah. He's weird little pumpkin patch kid. Anyway, I didn't have any like huge complaints about this movie, but I think overall I probably would give it like a 7, which is the highest I think I've given these movies. But they're actually not bad. They're getting better, and I did enjoy this movie quite a bit. What did you think, Amanda?
I'm with you. It's about a 7. They did really good. Plot-wise, cinematically, visually, all pretty on point. It's probably like overall, in general, everyone's favorite Harry Potter movie.
Mm-hmm.
So, good job.
Oh. I'd probably give this I'd probably rate this one 8.5 to a 9.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it ranks pretty
That's the
high.
highest I'm gonna give any movie at this point. Yeah, I mean, this is personally my favorite, so yeah, it's gonna rank high.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Yeah, like I said, I think overall they did a better job. Like the effects were even better. Not super great, but pretty good considering. Like the Gary Oldman was fire stuff that turned out really well. The dragon I was actually pretty impressed with. The effects on that were pretty good. And yeah, the overall direction of it felt like an interesting movie. Like there wasn't really a boring scene in it. As far as I could tell, I guess. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was a pretty good movie. Yeah. So what kind of stuff can I expect in Order of the Phoenix? I think is the next one.
Not better.
Not better.
A lot of angst.
So each movie takes place 1 year after the previous movie. Is that right? Or do any of them jump more time?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. So Harry Potter should be what, like?
Well, the last 2 are the same year.
Yeah.
Well, okay, sure. So he's only aged 7 years from the start of this movie in movie time?
Yeah, so he'd be 17 at the end.
Whoa. I thought he was supposed to be like in his mid-20s the last movie. Okay. So that's going to wrap it up for us, guys. Thanks for watching. Remember to like, share, and subscribe. Tune in 2 weeks. We'll do the next Harry Potter movie. We're doing these every 2 weeks. But anyway, I don't know what we'll do next week. I got a suggestion earlier today that we should do Cowboy Bebop at some point because it's fantastic. It's the best one. And Amanda probably doesn't like it. So I'll be happy about that.
Probably.
Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody. Have either of you guys seen the Just Do It, the Shia LaBeouf, like where he gets spliced into
LaBeouf.
Yeah, where he gets spliced into the Harry Potter? I didn't realize that was from this movie, and so as soon as I saw it, I was like, "Oh, this is my favorite part." This has Shia in it. The movie lost some points for me because he wasn't actually in it, but that's still good. That's all right.
Oh, it's still a treasure.